This is strike three. I supported him. I defended him. I even told people early on, trust the process. I was wrong. This right here is strike three. But I'll come back to that in a minute. First, it was the Epstein files. We were promised transparency. Then suddenly they disappeared, and anyone still asking questions is told, stop following me as the president. That's not accountability. That's silencing your own supporters. Then Iran, and don't get me wrong, Iran has been yelling death to America for decades. They've sponsored more terrorism and proxy groups than anyone else. They were directly involved, especially with a lot of the parts and materials for bombs, with a lot of American soldiers getting catastrophically injured and taken out in Iraq and Afghanistan. You could have just told us Iran was evil and that we weren't gonna placate them anymore. But you had to spin it. You had to throw the propaganda. We were told their nuclear capabilities were completely destroyed after dropping a series of bunker busters. But then, all of a sudden, they're close to a nuke again, and here we are at war. Which one is it? Spin after spin. The story changed multiple times. I watched it all in real time. The propaganda was beyond obvious. Do they think we're that stupid? Clearly they do, because if you disagree, you're called a low IQ person. And now this image, posting a picture of yourself as Jesus, then deleting it and saying you were supposed to be a doctor in that photo. Again, stop lying to us. You messed up badly. Be a man and own it. This is the problem. Post something completely outrageous. There's a big reaction, then you delete it, then you spin it. That's not leadership. I hate to say it. That's manipulation. I did believe drain the swamp. It never happened. I believed in accountability, and it was coming. It never happened. I believe things would be different, and they are different in a lot of ways that I really love, but not for the most important ones. My priorities are simple: God, family, country, faith, morality, values, and truth. Those come before any man, before any party. This is how great nations fail. When people stop questioning, when loyalty replaces principles, that's when countries fail. Because history shows it comes when leaders and institutions lose all credibility. We already went through that crap with Obama and Biden. I supported him, and I was wrong. He has a lot of damage to undo, and I really hope he does. There's only one that we can rely on, and that's Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. So if you're okay with burying the Epstein truths, letting victims never see their abusers pay the price, at the end, a man depicting himself as Jesus, I don't know what to tell you except if you meet Jesus in the end, the only words he's going to say to you will be, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
Watch this MAGA fan rage and completely abandon Donald Trump over his tariffs being deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court has ruled that Trump's tariffs are unconstitutional. Golden age update, guys. We've got nothing. We might have to pay back $150 billion to other countries and nations and businesses. Meanwhile, the American people have been screwed this entire time as prices have went up on the tariffs, and now it's been ruled unconstitutional where we may be having to pay it back. This administration's a joke. It's over. This administration is an absolute travesty. We've got nothing. No mass deportations. We've got no actual release of the Epstein files. So many more to go. We have no tariffs. They're unconstitutional now. So everything you voted for is a complete lie.
Man, I love when I come across videos like this. MAGA fans finally realizing the truth, that Donald Trump is a complete fraud, a total failure, and he's backtracking on all of the promises he made to them. I gotta be honest, I don't know why this thing in particular is the one that pushed him over the edge as opposed to Donald Trump's many other scandals or failures, but he's not happy. Trump's term has been a complete disaster. His fans are even admitting it, and I expect to see more videos like this as his term goes on.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from whatever you're watching this video from. I'll start by using this say. There's a Swahili say that says that a person that depends on what the brother has sleeps on nothing. It means that it's your brother's and it's not yours. And this is what happened to majority of these white Americans that were Trump voters. This is what happened to them. They were promised a lie. And since this group of people, white Americans, we all know that they are trauma bonded. Because Trump gave them all the signs. One feature of a person who is trauma bonded is that a person gives you the signs to leave, but you still don't want to leave. So white Americans are trauma bonded to Trump in this way. Trump gave them every reason not to believe in him. His racist remarks. This is not something which happened. I'm not even talking about what like 3 months ago he did and said about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the previous hits that President Trump had before. So he gave them all the signs. But these folks never try to leave. It's like walking away in a toxic relationship. These people find it so hard to walk away from Trump, even though they know very well that this man mean nothing good to them. So they are trauma bonded because they keep on expecting something better from Trump, but Trump keep on disappointing them. But they keep on repeating the same problem. And so you ask yourself, like, what's really wrong with us? Why do we keep on voting against our own interest? It's because you all are trauma bonded. You are trauma bonded to the fact, to the ideology, to the American utopia. Yet you don't understand that America is becoming a dystopia. That's what you need to know, and that's what's up. So majority of these people keep on hoping that things will get better, but things are not getting better, and that's how delusional they are, and they were sold a lie, and this lie is just sitting with them. It is so hard for them to accept that Trump will not change. Whether you blow the trumpets today, when today people go to election again, you will still see people voting for Trump. And you'll ask yourself, what's really happening? After everything, it's because these folks are trauma bonded. So brothers and sisters, as you watch the video, please, I'm just asking you and reminding you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get to see what I can offer you. And as you know, I'm your host and presenter, Hichidak Stories. And let me see you at the end of it all, where I'll be coming with my thoughts and commentaries in regards to this.
There are white people going viral right now for their regret over voting for Donald Trump. And I put that word into heavy quotation marks because I genuinely question if they even know what the word regret means. One woman in particular got on TikTok crying a whole theatrical production about how people are not greeting her with open arms, how they're being mean to her in her comment section. Lady, are you fucking for real? Somehow you are the victim, not the millions of people harmed by the very system that you voted to prop up not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. Not the immigrants who lost their family members to deportation or concentration camps. Not the communities of color who have been terrorized by the very policies that you voted to enable. You're the victim because people were mean to you in your comment section. And this tells me everything I need to know about your regret. You're not sorry, you're uncomfortable, and you're confusing the two. You claim that you're doing the work, yet at the first sign that that work becomes difficult, you make videos crying to garner sympathy for yourself. So the emotional labor falls on everyone else again. And then to make it worse, there's a whole slew of people in her comment sections coddling her. Oh, you're such a good girl because you realize that you made a mistake by voting for him 3 times. It's so brave of you to speak up. Then, some of you have the fucking audacity to police how other people respond to this video. Specifically, the people that MAGA spent years targeting. People of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants. You want them to welcome ex-MAGA with open arms. You want them to perform forgiveness for your comfort. The people that we should all have sympathy for are the ones who have been harmed, not the ones who do the harming and are now sad because everyone remembers. But here's the part that really gets me. Same crying video. She said she won't be voting in future elections. So instead of working to dismantle the oppressive system that you helped build, your solution is to throw your hands up and do nothing but cry online. That is not remorse. That is not doing the work. That's pandering for likes and comments to appease your praise kink. That's demanding forgiveness without actually earning it. Look, if people want to coddle ex-MAGA voters, that's your prerogative. Nobody can stop you for handing out participation trophies. But if you are an alleged regretful MAGA, do not expect anyone to forgive you. Do not expect a warm welcome. Do not expect marginalized communities to throw you a fucking parade. Do the fucking difficult work. Sit with your discomfort. Sit with the fact that people are rightfully angry at you. And sit with the fact that your regret doesn't undo any of the damage that you caused. The only way you will maybe, and that's a big if, be welcomed back into a society that is rightfully skeptical of you is if you spend the rest of your life proving that you are worth redemption. That means voting for progressive candidates who actually want to help people. That means showing up to protests. That means putting your fucking body on the line. That means doing the hard work even when nobody is clapping for you. Otherwise, save your fucking tears and go cry about it in your journal.
This is how it went.
Very happy and excited that Trump won. As far as financially, obviously nothing's really changed. We're still under the Biden administration, but I know that it is coming,
And this is how it's going.
so I admit I regret my vote for Donald Trump. I regret it because I needed these changes sooner. I needed the prices to go down sooner so that I didn't drain out my bank account.
Yeah, you regret your vote. And you know what? You're saying that you regret your vote. You're on video here crying your eyes out because you learned the hard way that Donald Trump does not mean lower prices for you. He again stated over and over and over again that he was going to do blanket tariffs. We told you he was going to raise prices. You guys said, no, we don't know what we're talking about. Experts who've studied this for 10 plus years now, they just don't know. And now you're suffering the consequences of raising prices in a shitty economy. And you're begging for money on here with a GoFundMe, which is, fine, except you're trying to use the I regret my vote trope for money, right? So I'm looking down at your caption here and you literally have it stated that you don't regret your vote. But then you go on to use a bunch of hashtags saying I regret my vote, that you regret your vote. And I know what you're doing here, right? The MAGA family that you decided to be a part of won't donate to your GoFundMe, probably because they look at the color of your hair and immediately judge you, or I don't know. It's MAGA. They're probably struggling, to be honest. So you decided to try to ride off the I regret my vote algorithm and get your video out to the liberals, which I'm guessing you assume might have money. But we're in the same boat as you, right? Because you guys decided to vote for the orange and now we're all getting to suffer. So you strap in, you know what I mean? What is it? This is what you voted for. There's another one. If you're going to sink the ship, we're all going to go down together. I don't know. Anyways, my name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you.
Let's talk about the Trump supporters that are losing their jobs. Last night I was out in Chicago and these three guys started talking to me and they were all from Naperville. And they asked what I did for work and I said, I make educational content. And the guy was like, are you one of those liberals? Are you one of those lefties? And he was so serious. He just continued to mock me and make fun of my content. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave this conversation. And he goes, yeah, it's because of you guys that my mom just lost her job. And I was intrigued. I was like, why did your mom lose her job? What did she do for work? And he goes, she was in the military. She's a veteran, but then she was working at this office for the last few years and they just let her go. I look him dead in the face. I'm like, do you think your mom was a DEI hire? Because veterans are a protected class. And now that they don't have to hire her anymore, then they let her go. He goes, that's so true. He doesn't believe me. He looks it up and just the color just drains from his face. And the guy with him was a research assistant after just graduating from university. And his position was just terminated because of lack of federal funding from the federal government. Which is thanks to fucking Trump. So newsflash, DEI doesn't just mean black people. So in fact, what's happening on a federal level is going to affect you too. You aren't special just because you're white. Karma's getting them. Okay, bye.
Okay, since no one's going to say it, I'm going to say it. Let's just call it what it is. This Trump administration isn't some showcase of brilliance or strategy or moral authority. It is a showcase of white mediocrity, broadcast for the entire world to see. If you think about it, they scream about being the greatest. They scream about being the smartest, the most patriotic. But when the spotlight hits them, what do we see? Corruption, incompetence, lies stacked on top of lies. A government so insecure it has to redraw maps, it has to silence voters, it has to attack its own citizens just to hold on to power. And the world is watching. Countries overseas are looking at America, shaking their heads, saying, "This is America? This is what we were told was the standard for democracy?" Because for centuries, whiteness carried itself alongside synonymous with excellence, while dismissing black and brown excellence as inferior. But Trump's administration has blown that myth to pieces because globally, people see it now. Whiteness in power doesn't guarantee wisdom. It doesn't guarantee justice. It doesn't even guarantee competence. All it guarantees is access. Access, handed down through a rigged system that protects mediocrity as long as it wears the right skin. So let's be clear. This ain't about every white person, but it is about the fact that Trump has exposed the truth, that the old story of white superiority was never superiority at all. It was all smoke and mirrors, and now the smoke has cleared. So what comes next, right? If America wants respect on the world stage again, it won't come through Trump. It won't come through clinging to whiteness. It will come through honesty, justice, and multiracial democracy that values talent, not skin. Because the global stage just learned what we've always known. When you strip away the privilege, white mediocrity can't hold a candle to black excellence.
Y'all want to know what angers me? A poll was just recently released that highlighted Americans now view Joe Biden as a better president than Donald Trump. That Joe Biden did a better job than what Donald Trump is currently doing. And why that just upsets me to the highest degree is because we as the American people have got to start seeing clearly when it matters the most. Not after the fact, not after a decision has been made. Because I've watched countless people lambast about how they couldn't relate to Kamala, but you knew who Donald Trump was. Joe Biden was too old, but you knew his character. And you knew Donald Trump's character. And you still voted for Donald Trump. Or you chose to sit out the election to prove what point I'm still trying to understand. But here we are, a year and some change later, far worse than where we were back in 2024. We now have federal agencies killing American people. We have the innocent being deported and snatched up, who their only crime, I guess, is crossing the border illegally, but other than that, have been productive citizens of this nation. We got 5-year-olds being detained by ICE. The president putting tariffs on everybody, the rule of law being completely disregarded, and now we've finally come to our senses? It's too late.
Trump represents white safety. He makes white people feel like he's going to protect them from all the others. Unfortunately, true. I naively thought there was no way in hell he was ever going to make it back into office again. I thought that we had largely turned a corner in this country where it was not that bad. But what I learned here is that we should never underestimate the power of fear. Because that is exactly how the right, especially Trump, motivates people, through fear. And sadly, it's been that way as long as I can remember. I used to live in East Texas, and I had this fishing buddy that I used to go out to his place, and we would fish and just shoot the shit about anything. One day, out of nowhere, he told me this story about this cabin that his family owns that they are all going to retreat to one day whenever the black people take over and try and enslave the white people. Because that's what his family taught him over time, that black people were eventually going to outbreed us, and then they were going to want to get some payback. And I started laughing at this, thinking he's just fucking with me. But then his face turned bright red, and he's like, I'm being serious. He said, you might think it's funny now, but you won't think it's so funny whenever they've got you working the fields. Which which only got me laughing harder, and it made him even madder. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be a fishing trip where we're supposed to be quiet and just fishing and relaxing. But he was so mad. He had this whole story built up in his head, and he's been worried about it for a long time. And I thought surely people like this could not be the norm in this country. But if you have somebody who is running for office who is feeding into that fear that you already have, that makes it all the more powerful. He tells them things like, transgender illegals are streaming across our open borders, trying to break into our homes and take them over and jiggle their genitals in our faces. And the majority of the people that voted for him were uneducated people that were about this tone. So they hear all this nonsense and they're like, well, that's gotta be true, because why else would he say it? He's just saying what I always thought would happen. And that fear turns into anger, that anger turns into hate, and then all of a sudden they're out voting because they're so full of hatred. But they'll tell you it's not hatred. They'll say that they're voting out of love. But not a love of all people, just the people that they think that this country is their birthright. So when Trump comes along and says, I alone can fix this, they're like, oh shit. They definitely got to vote for the only guy who can fix this, because this absolutely needs to be fixed. This problem that only exists in their minds. And the only way to fix this is education, but they even think that that's toxic, because the right has taught them that education is indoctrination. So they don't want to get too educated, because that might turn them into a liberal, which will make them want to give the country away to people who don't look like them. I don't know, man. I think the only thing that can save us now is if we have another pandemic come through that they don't trust and they just do the opposite of, and it just wipes them out. I just can't see reversing 40 to 50 years of dumbing down in this country. These people are completely brainwashed. But maybe I'm wrong. I really hope that I am.
Hey, y'all. So they finally said it out loud on camera with their whole chest. Alabama's House Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter stood in front of the press after his state passed a redistricting bill and said, and I quote, I certainly hope the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14, end quote. I need you to understand what he means. You see, the 14th Amendment is not a technicality. It's not a redistricting footnote. It's the amendment that made black people citizens of this country after 250 years of enslavement, ratified in 1868, written in blood. It says you are a citizen. It says you have equal protections under the law. It says no state can strip your rights without due process. It is the legal spine of every civil rights victory we have ever won. And Ledbetter hopes the Supreme Court throws it in the trash. That's not a redistricting argument, ladies and gentlemen. That's a declaration. See, they're not hiding under their white hoods and robes anymore. They are not dog whistling. They are standing at a podium saying, we want the amendment that made you citizens gone. This is happening right now in real time, 2026. And the only thing they're afraid of, the only reason they want to erase that amendment is because they know what we do when we show up. So show up. And remind every black and brown person that voted for this. Jim Crow had a hood. This version has a law degree and a press conference.
We just want our country back. We're sorry, America.
He's done.
What did I get for it?
Sir, why did you come here today wearing that MAGA shirt? I voted for him.
Yeah, I voted for Trump. Twice, actually. Thought he was going to drain the swamp and make America great again.
Sorry, America. Sorry, America. We were wrong.
We believed the lies.
We paid the price.
We paid the price.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great, you are doing beautiful from wherever you're watching this video from. Now, what I really try to dissect in this is the reason as to why Trump voters, or majority of white Americans that believed in Trump, in as much as Trump keeps on hurting them, they will still go back. They will still believe in him. You ask yourself why. It's because, and I told you, and I'll still say it again, it's because these groups or these folks are trauma bonded. They are believing in a hope. They are believing in inflated lies. And the moment they get to know the truth, it's really late. I mean, they cannot be helped. So some of them are even saying that, we are doing this for the last time. We'll never do anything like this. But they will go on and repeat the same mistake and repeat the same pattern. So you ask yourself, today they can cry, they can't be sorry, they can say anything, but that's not the truth. That's not the reality. They will still vote for him, given a chance. You might want to call it anything that you might want to call it. It could be racism, and that's true. It could be. And in as much as all these things are happening, they keep on thinking that there is a better Trump, that this person's gonna be coming and solving everything, bringing change, and solving all the problems that they are going through. Man, I don't think so. These people are delusional. The people that think that Trump's gonna change, the people that think that Trump's gonna make America great again, the greatness again, which was not great again for everyone, because you are still believing in a lie, the utopia that America was, instead of living the reality, the dystopian American that is currently happening, and everything that is currently going on, you get to see the truth. So you gotta open your eyes and just see the truth. So that's what's up, and that's what's really happening, and that's what you should know. I don't know why people don't get tired of listening to Donald Trump lie. Because all he does is to lie. He keeps on lying, and lying on top of lying, and lying on top of lying. This person has killed the dreams of a lot of Americans, a lot of people. People who had hope, people who had future, people who believe that indeed America is a place where you just need to work hard and everything will align. But they got humbled because that was not the truth. That didn't happen to them in that way. So apparently, they still have hope that Trump's gonna be changed. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I don't have a problem with that. But for me, I think this is a perfect definition of a person who are trauma bonded. White people are trauma bonded, and they're trauma bonded to Trump because they keep on lying to him, and they are getting destroyed. Their lives are getting destroyed. Majority of these people are not even living in their houses. They are living outside their houses. So you know what this means? This means that a person will stand up in front of you, say something that he will not do, and you'll believe that tomorrow is going to change, and you'll believe that he's going to be coming up with these changes. That's what I call trauma bonding, and white folks are trauma bonded. Feel me, fam? So whether you don't agree with me or whether you agree with me, that's what's up. And that's what's really happening. And I think in as much as you are saying you should have listened to black folks, trust me, when you go to the ballot box, you will still vote to Donald Trump because there's something at the back of your mind. It could be racism that tells you that, if another person gets into the presidential seat, we ain't gonna be the same. I mean, we are going to be wiped out as a white race because we are not going to be in a political seat. So it means that we are not going to be represented. So in short, you choose a person that looks like you so that they can represent people who look like you. But that's not reality because the grass ain't green on the other side. As you thought, it ain't. Not until you get to find the truth. Not until you get to realize the truth. That's when It's gonna be making sense to you. But until then, you're just gonna be you're just gonna be hopping. Keep hopping, keep hopping, keep hopping, keep hopping, keep hopping, keep hopping, keep hopping. But the results will remain the same. Because you'll keep on giving this person the chance, thinking that he's going to be changing the narrative. He's going to be changing everything that's happening to you. But you see, that's not the reality. That's not how things work. I mean, things work differently in reality. So please let me know what you all think about this, right? I really want to know your opinion in regards to this. And as you know, I'm your host and presenter Age Tech Stories. And for those watching for the first time, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get to see what I can offer you. For those always coming back watching my videos, man, I'm really, really grateful for all the support that you're giving me. I just want to say thank you for you all giving me your ears, and those who have watched me until this point. Guys, you're the most important people that I ever know, because you are listening to me, you are watching to me, and we are all learning from each other, and that's the most beautiful thing. So I want to take this time to thank you all for those who have watched my videos. So until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.